the one, the only, Ben
Good afternoon and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube Just Dafit as we continue Mesechus Gittin Ches number 68. In the beginning of this parak is going to talk a lot about Agayata, most of this parak I think actually. So we have an interesting story today about Ashmedai, who was apparently the king of the demons. Shlomo Melech had to deal with him in order to get something, and eventually he was displaced temporarily by Ashmedai as the king. No one knew it was Ashmedai who was the king, but it turned out Ashmedai was the king. And even Ben Sina will talk about demons. Do they exist? Do they not exist? This is my opinion about that and how that translates to everyday life. Let's start on the bottom of Samach Zayim and Beis. We were talking about yesterday, Rav Sheshas was invited to the house of the Reish Galusa, the exilarch, the municipality over there in Bavel, and they wanted to cause problems for him, the servants over there. 3 lines to the bottom. They said, right, he figured out their plot. He brought him an animal, Avram Minachai. He figured it out. So they said, we'll prepare the meal in front of you, the marvelecha, and you'll eat. He said, fine. They brought a table in front of him. Aisu kame bisra, vosivu kame ristana dechanka chamta. They brought a piece of meat over there. However, there was a special bone, a small bone in there, which he was supposed to choke on. Gashisha, he felt the meat. B'shakla, he took the bone out. Karcha b'sudre, he wrapped it in a scarf. L'basar da'achil, after he finished eating, Amri le, they said to him, the top of Samachem and Aleph, Ignev lan kasa de kaspa. We've lost the silver goblet. They wanted to find a reason, a pretext for checking his stuff. They were checking for the goblet. They checked his scarf, and they found the bone there. He's not eating. I didn't want to eat this bone. He's causing us pain. He said, really, I did eat from the food you gave me. I tasted a taste of leprosy in the animal. It was spoiled. He said, we didn't prepare any meat that was spoiled, that was white. Go check it. If it's a black animal or a dark meat and there's white in the dark meat, or it's dark meat and there's a white spot in the dark meat, that means it's spoiled. They went and they found it. So he was proven right. They wanted to trip him up again. They dug a hole. They put a reed mat on top of it so he shouldn't see. First of all, Rosh Hashanah was blind anyway. Come sit on the couch. He wanted him to walk over this pit and fall in. Rav Chisda snorted from behind him in order to warn him. Upon hearing this type of warning, it was an alarming sound. He told the child that was over there, tell me what pasuk you're learning in school. The pasuk says you should turn either to your right or to your left. So once he heard that, Rosh Hashanah was blind, heard that, Michael Chazes, he asked them, what do you see in front of me? A reed mat. He said, turn, let's go around it. Once he left the house, how did you know? First, you were you snorted, so I was alarmed. The pasuk. And also, the child, interestingly, told me a pasuk about going to the right or the left. I'm concerned about these servants. I know that they're trying to hurt me. Asisili, Shlomo Melech says, Asisili, Sharim v'sharos v'tanugos b'nei adam, Sadeh v'sheda v'shedos. This is Shlomo Melech talking. He made the following things for himself. What are these really referring to? Sharim v'sharos, Elumine zemer. These are types of orchestras. Sharim is orchestras of men. Sharot is orchestras of women. Now, article translates as musical instruments, male instruments and female instruments. I think it's woman instruments. A woman choir, I think, is allowed according to the Torah. For 2 reasons. Even if you want to say Kol Isha is a problem, it's asur. When a lot of women singing, it's okay because you can't identify each woman. And second of all, the Gemara says Kol B'Isha Erba. You can't say Kriya Shema when a woman is singing. It doesn't mean you can't hear a woman singing. I think that's a problem that people, a mistake people assume in halacha. Tanugos ben Adam elu brechos merchatzos. He also had a lot of pools and merchatzos. He had a lot of spas. Shada v'shados hacha targimo shida v'shittin. Here in Bavel, they interpreted shida v'shittin, which is basically male and female demons. But Rava Amri shidda. In Eretz Yisrael, they translate it as chariots. Amar Rabbi Yochanan said, Shalosh meos mine shedim hayu b'shichen. There were 300 types of demons in Shichen, a town he lived in. B'shida atzma eni yodea mahi. I don't know too much about these demons. Amar Mar, achat tarkimu shida v'shitin. One second. Fine. So the Gemara says Hachar in Bavel, right? We explained Shida v'Shirtin that Shlomo Melech talked about was male and female demons. Lamayi Bayale. What was Shlomo Melech doing with them? Nechsiv Bayis Bimanoso Evan Shlema Masa Nivna. When he's building the base of Mikdash, Shlomo Melech was tasked with building the base of Mikdash. He had to cut the stones, right? Even though only the Mizbeach, the altar, can't be cut with stone, but Shlomo Melech didn't want to. He wanted to make this chumrah via the entire base of Mikdash, which was unnecessary, and that's ultimately what leads to people's downfalls is when they extend to the Torah to what it's not meant to be. How am I going to make stones that are not cut with a metal sword? Amrulei ika shmira, the Isi Moshe Avnei Ephod, the shamir. The shamir was a famous type of worm that Moshe used to engrave on the ephod, the two stones on the shoulders of the Kohen Gadol, all the names of the Shvatim. He put ink there, and the shamir, the worm, went and engraved them out. Where is it? I see Shida v'Shittin. Let's go bring male and female demons. Kavshinu adade, and we'll conquer them. We'll capture them. After the Yadi Umagalulach, they'll tell us where it is. I see Shida v'Shittin. Kavshinu, so they capture them. Adad, the Amre, Anan lo Yadin. They said, we don't know where they are, where the Shamir is. Dilma Ashmandai Malka the Shida Yada. Ashmandai, who's the king of demons, he knows. Amrlu Heicha Isai, where is Ashmandai? Amrlu Isai Batura Plan. He's in a certain mountain. They told him a mountain. And Karyale Bira, how does he feed himself? He basically carves out for himself a hole. Umal Yale Maya, and he puts water in there. Michsie Betinra. And he covers it with a big stone. He puts his own seal on it to make sure that when he comes back and drinks from it, no one has dealt with the water. Now, there's a lot of people in the world. If you're an evil person, there's other people. There's other more danger that the evil person brings to regular people. Other gangs are out to kill the evil people. So he didn't want anyone to play with his water, to poison his water. Every day, Salik L'Rakiya would go to Shamayim, V'Gomer Mesifta L'Rakiya would learn from the heavenly base medrash. V'Nachis L'Ara, he would go back to the land, V'Gomer Mesifta L'Ara, he would learn in the yeshivas what they were learning in yeshiva. Sachas Gittin, Daf Yomi. V'Asi Sayale L'Gushmanke Umagalile, he would go ahead and he would check that his seal was there, Umagalile, and then he would uncover the rock, V'Shasi, and he would drink. He would again cover it and seal it. So Shlomo Melech sent Bnaya ben Yehoyada, who was the head of Sanhedrin, also was the general in the army. They gave him a chain, the Chakikal Hashem, that had the name of Hashem, and a ring, the Chakikal Hashem. The Gvave da Amra, basically rolls of wool. The Zike da Chamra, some flasks of wine. Azal Kara Bira. So what was his plan? What was Bnayahu's plan? Kara Bira mitata. He went to the place where he was supposed to be. He dug out his own well underneath Ashmanai's well. V'shafinu lamaya. He filled it with water. V'satminu b'gvavi de'imra. And he closed it with these balls of wool. V'kara Bira ma'alai. Then he unearthed. He dug another pit on top of Ashmanai's pit. V'shafchinu l'chamra. He put the wine there. V'taminu. And he covered it over. Salik Yasef Be'ilna. And he basically let the wine drip into Ashmandai's thing of water. Yasef Be'ilna. He sat in the tree to see what would happen. Kyasa When the Ashmanite came, Saire Legushpanka, he checked that the seal was there, was unbroken. Galye, Ashkeche Chamra, he found there was wine. Amra Ksiv, Leitz Hayayin, Homesh Sheikhar. Yayin makes someone a fool. Homesh Sheikhar, Sheikhar, right? Intoxic, alcohol, spirits, they make someone crazy. V'chol shogeh bo lo yecham. Anyone who engages in these things won't be smart. V'chsiv is duz v'yayin and v'tiro shikach leiv. Furthermore, it says in Mishlei that if you engage in immorality or you have wine or fresh wine, it'll remove your heart. It'll take your heart away. Lo ishti, I don't want to drink. Hisachi, however, when he's very thirsty, lo sakile, they can't hold themselves back. Shade them, even though they're demons. They're given to their desires very easily. Ishti, he drank from it. Rava v'gana, he became drunk. V'gana, he lied down. Nachis asa shada beisho shilta. The Bnei Bin Yoda then went and took the chain, and he chained him while he was sleeping. Satme, and he covered him up, and he took possession of him. Ki itar, when he woke up, havaka mifarzel, he was shaking, trying to get out of the chains. Amar lei, shma demarach halach, shma demarach halach. Meaning you've been conquered by Shlomo HaMelech, the master that were taking you. Mata dikla chafbe. When he was going back to Yerushalayim, to Shlomo HaMelech, when he came across a palm tree, he brushed against it. Shadye, mat shadye. And he purposely knocked it down. Mata lebeise, he came to a house. Shadye, he knocked down. Mata gabe kuba, tahi armalasa, he came to a hut where a widow was living. Nafka, she came out. She saw that he was knocking down everything. Shaidim are very wild and they like to destroy things. Top of Samachem Beis, Echnile Kappa Lakomse Mine. She begged him not to knock down her hut. It's Barbe Garma, so he avoided it, and by avoiding it, he broke a bone in his body. Amar Hainu Dechsev Lashon Racha, a soft tongue to Shaber Garam will break someone's bones. Chaza Samya Dahavakatoi Ba'orcha. He saw a blind person, Ashmedai, Dahavakatoi Ba'orcha. He was losing his path, going the wrong way. Aske La'orcha. He guided him back the right path. Chaza Rabia, he saw someone drunk, Dahavakatoi Ba'orcha. He was also going off the wrong path. Aske La'orcha, he put him on the right path. Chaza Chedvas Kamatchila. He saw there was a big wedding going on. Bacha, he cried. Shame lahu gavra dava kamar ushkapa. He saw a person was telling a shoemaker, Avi li misanai l'shev shani. Make for me shoes that will last for 7 years. Achich. When hearing this, he laughed. Chaza us kasma dava kasma. He heard a certain sorcerer. Achich. He laughed when he saw him. Kimata lahasam. When he came to Shlomo HaMelech, lo ayli legabe de Shlomo atlas Yomi. They didn't bring him to Shalom till the third day after he got there. Yom HaKama, the first hour, who am I look li malka? Why does the king not want to see me? Why does he want me to come to him? I'm like, Anse Mishtye. Shalom Melech partied a lot. He was drunk. Shakal Levinta, so he took a brick, Ashmedai, Osev Acherasa, and put it on another one. Asu Amar le Shlomo. They told Shlomo this is what he did. Amar Lehu, Hachi Amar Lechu, Hadar Ashkuya. They said it means he wants to drink more, because sometimes when you drink more, it actually makes you feel better. Why the second day? Why is the king not telling me to come? Amrulay, Anse Michla. He ate too much. Shakal Levinta Mechavre Asa Osva Ara. He took the brick off. He put it on the ground. Asu Amrulay Shlomo. They told Shlomo he did this. Amrulhu Hachi Amrulchu Negidu Minei Michle. I don't want to have so much food. I want to recover from his inebriation. Lasof Tlasa Yomi. After 3 days, Ayala Kameh. He came in front of Shlomo. Shakal Kanya, Umashak Arba Garmidi. He took a reed, Ashmendai, and he threw it, right, basically 4 cubits, 4 amos. It was 4 amos long, and he threw it in front of Shlomo Melech. Hamalei Michti. He said, why am I doing this? Kimai so gavra leisle bahadin alma el dal garmidi. When you die, you're only going to have a space of 4 amos. Your kever, your burial plot. You're in charge of the whole world. Shlomo Melech was, every king in the world deferred to him. He was in control of the whole world, basically. Why do you need control of the demons also? I don't want to be a ruler over you, but I want to build the Beis HaMikdash. I need the Shamir. Amr, so he told him, I'm not in charge of the shamir. L'sara diyama master lay. Who's in charge of it? The person who's in charge um, of the waters of the world. Right? In Greek mythology, who is the one that's in charge of the water? Forgot his name. He has it. Lo yoivle. El Tarnagola Baro. Right? The master of the sea. Starts with an A. I'm trying to remember his name. Yoivle El Tarnagola Bara. He only gives it to a wild cock. The Mehemin Le'ashua say that he trusts. My Avid Bay. What did this cock do? He takes the shamir to a mountain that basically there's nothing growing over there. He goes to the peak of the mountain. He places the shamir, this worm, on top of the mountain. The mountain splits open. He takes seeds from trees. It ends up being a settlement. Behind the Tangamida, Nagar Tura. The word duchifis, which is one of the words in the Torah, is called Nagar Tura, a splitter of the mountains. Batku Kino the Tarnagolas. They went to a place where these wild chickens were, bara. The Isle Bani, the Chafua Lakine Zugisa. Apparently they found the right bird, so they covered basically his nest with glass, chibris, a white glass. Kiasa Ba'ilamel, he wanted to get into his nest, Lo Matzi. So in order to get in, he took the shamir, he put it on the glass. Ramabei Kala, Shadya Shaklai, Azal Chanak Nafshe. So when he did this, they snooped down and they took the shamir. Azal Chanak Nafshe, upon doing it, the wild cock killed himself. He choked himself, Ashvuase, because he couldn't keep his shvua. Amr Bnei said, my time, he asked Ashbelai the following questions. When we're going back, when I was bringing you to Shlomo Melech to the palace, why did you help the blind man go back on his path? I heard in Shamayim they were saying that he's a complete tzaddik, a completely righteous person. Anyone who helps him out will be zocha for olam haba. When you saw the drunkard, why did you help him get back on the path? The Rasha Gomer, they're saying in Shamayim that he's a complete Rasha. I did something good for him in order that he should be banished from the world. When you saw the big wedding, why did you cry? The husband's going to die within 30 days. And the woman is going to have to wait 13 years for, there was a baby, had a baby brother, to grow up in order to do the Yom Chalitza. My time, when you heard the man telling the shoemaker, I want shoes for 7 years, last me 7 years, you laughed. He doesn't have 7 days to live. He needs shoes for 7 years. My time, when you saw the sorcerer who was doing sorcery, you laughed. He was sitting on the treasure of a king. If he was such a sorcerer, you should have to figure out there was a treasure chest underneath him. Shlomo Melech kept Ashpenai there until he finished building Beis Hamikdash. He was standing in it by himself with Ashpenai. This is a pasuk said by Bilam about the wonders of Hashem. He has all the control over all the things that fly or in the sky. The Gemara says, what does that refer to? Even Malachei Asharis are under the control of Hashem. Even the Shadim are control of Hashem. Right? There's a praise of Hashem. Not only is he in control of mankind, he's also in control of the Malachim and the Shadim. Why are you better? Why are you demons better than human beings? He said, take off the chains from me. Give me your ring, and I'll show you. While I'm in chains, I can't show you why I'm so great. Why I'm so great. He took off the chains. He gave him his ring. Bale. He swallowed the ring. He took one wing, Ashmedai, he put it in the sky. His other wing he placed on the earth. And he kicked Shlomo HaMelech 400 parsos. Ali Shaisa, about that time, Amr Shlomo, Ma Yisrael Adam B'chol Amolo Shel Motach Shemesh Shlomo Melech had done so many wondrous things in his life. He built the Beis Hamikdash, he did so many things, he conquered the entire world. But even all the work that was done, he ended up being a commoner, as we're going to see. He was banished from his palace. It doesn't go hell. This is my portion from all my work. My vizeh. What does vizeh mean? Maklo. He was left with one thing, his staff. Gundo. Some say he was left with his cloak. That was the last remaining vestige of his kingship. He had nothing to eat, so he was going begging on the doorsteps. Ani Koheles, I am Koheles. I used to be Melech al Yisrael Yerushalayim. I used to be the king of Yisrael and Yerushalayim. When it came to the Sanhedrin, Amru Rabbanan Michti Shota Bechad Milsa Lo Sarach. If he's really a deranged person, he's not going to keep saying the same thing. He kept on saying, I'm Koheles, I'm the Melech Yerushalayim. My hi, what's going on? I'm related to Benayu. They said Benayu, Kaboy Lach Malka Legabe. Right? You can't really figure out where the king was. The king basically doesn't allow anyone to just go into where his throne is. So they asked Benayu, did Shlomo Melech ever ask you to come meet him recently? Amru lehu lo. They sent to all the queens. He had a lot of wives. Kasu malcha legabaychu. Did the king come to you in the past couple of days, months? Shalchu lehu in Kaasi, he did come. Shalchu lehu bitku bekari. Go check his feet, because demons have feet like chickens. Shalchu lehu b'moke Kaasi. He comes with stockings, so his feet were covered. What's strange is that he asks us to be together with him even when we're nidas. He also wants to be together with his mother Batsheva, which is highly strange for Shlomo Melech, who's keeping the Torah. Shlomo, they brought Shlomo v'havule is kasa b'shoshilta. They gave Shlomo Melech back a ring, a signet ring, shoshilta. The chaku kaleh Hashem, and chains which had engraved the names of Hashem. Ki ayel, when he came back into where his throne was, Chazye, Ashmanai saw him, Parach, he flew away. From then on, Shlomo Melech was afraid of Ashmandai. Behind the sea, Shlomo Shishim Giborim Savlam Giborei Yisrael, says in Tehillim, that around his bed there were, every night he had 60 bodyguards. They were each holding a sword, know how to fight in battle. Each one had his sword right by his waist from the fear of the night. So Machlokes, he was a melech over the whole entire world, and then he became a commoner. He was removed by Ashmanite from the kingdom. Did he ever go back to being king? So one opinion says no. The other one says he did. That's the end of this story. Now the Gemara is going to turn, I believe now, and the next daf also, talk about different ways to heal different ailments that people go through. We talked about this previously earlier at the beginning of the parak. Ladama the Reisha, a person has blood rush to his head, high blood pressure. What do you do to cure that? Let's say Shorvina, Ubina. You bring boxwood, Ubina. I'm going to just translate what the article says because I have no idea what the Gemara is saying. So, boxwood and willow, from a willow tree, two types of woods. The asa, right, a myrtle branch, hadassim, dara, a myrtle branch, fresh myrtle branch, dara, the fresh myrtle, vizisa, and olives, v'chilpa, and rosemary, v'chilpa diama, rosemary close to the sea, v'yavla, yavla is a type of herb, it doesn't tell you what it is, v'lishkalinu, v'hadet, that they burn them together, v'linto, twas me'akasi, and I guess you boil it in a lot of hot water. You take 300 cups, a high geese of the reisha, with tlas me'akasi, a high geese of the reisha. You pour 300 cups of this solution on each part of the person's head. V'ilo, and if that doesn't work, lazy var the chivra, take a white rose, the kai bechad dara, that grows in one row. I think it means, people, when they grow flowers, they have long rows of flowers. One of those roses. V'lishkale, take it, v'lintel shisin kasi, you want to boil that in hot water also. Take 60 cups of that solution, a high geese, the reisha, with shisin kasi, high geese, the reisha, pour on each part of his head. And that will cure high blood pressure. The slichsa, if a person has a migraine headache, it's a shame people don't know about this Gemara. So many people suffer from migraine headaches. All you have to do is, leisei tarnagola bara, take a wild cock, v'lishchate bezuza chivra, you go and you slaughter it with a silver coin, Ahu gisa the kayavle v'nizdaher midame, and you slaughter over the part of his head that's hurting him, and the blood will sprinkle on his head. The low the saminu le'ene, make sure it doesn't go in his eyes; it might make his eyes blind. V'litliye b'seifa de baba, and you hang the cock, the rest of the cock, on the door post. When he comes in, he brushes against it, and when he comes out, he brushes against it also, and this will ensure that he gets better. We'll stop here, and tomorrow we'll talk about more different remedies for different ailments. Stay tuned for Enoch Ben Sion, where I talk about this concept of shadim, of demons, what exactly demons are. Do demons exist in this world? The answer is yes. The Gemara says, Ashmedai, what are demons and what are they relevant to us in everyday life? Enoch Ben Sion coming up next.